A man with an unusual thirst. That's how today's story begins. But what exactly was he thirsty for? You'll soon find out. The tale opens in the Republic of Florence, a city consumed by terror as the plague sweeps through its alleys. Andreo, once a nimble-fingered pickpocket, now spends his days as a church painter. He's been working tirelessly for weeks, maybe even months, but hasn't seen a single coin for his efforts. Fed up, he storms off to demand payment from the church's father, only to discover the man lying dead. The plague had claimed him, too. Staring at the lifeless body, Andreo mutters, "So much for my wages." But instead of walking away, a daring thought strikes him. Why not take the priest's place? With no one alive to oppose him, he could enjoy the privileges that came with the role. Meanwhile, we meet Lorenzo, a clever young man on the run. He's being chased by thugs after humiliating a well-known thief named Tindaro at a gambling table. Unfortunately for Lorenzo, Tindaro isn't just any thief. He's a government man. Eager for revenge, Tindaro attacks, but Lorenzo slips away just in time. Elsewhere, we're introduced to Pampagna, the daughter of a wealthy merchant who recently passed away. Tindaro shows up at her estate and says, "Don't grieve, my dear. I'm here now. Your parents may be gone, but you have me." It's clear he has ulterior motives and intends to take advantage of her vulnerability. But Pampagna stands her ground, saying, "I've pledged myself to Prince Chocolan of Russia. I'll wait for him and only him." Annoyed, Tindaro protests, "Your father died owing me money. I paid off his debts. He promised me your hand." But Pampagna responds coolly, "That doesn't matter. I'm marrying the prince." Cut to Lorenzo once again, now galloping away on horseback as Tindaro's men close in. On his escape route, he encounters a man carrying a corpse. "Where does this road lead?" Lorenzo asks. "To a convent," the man replies. "It's where I used to work as a gardener. I'm taking this body there." That's when Lorenzo has an idea. If the gardener's dead, maybe they'll hire me to replace him. The man shakes his head. "You won't get the job. He had particular qualifications." "What kind?" Lorenzo presses. "He was deaf and mute. The nuns specifically want someone like that." Scoffing, Lorenzo mutters, "Being deaf and mute isn't a qualification. It's just bad luck." And with that, he slipped into hiding again, this time up a tree. The men passed by without spotting him, but the branch Lorenzo was standing on suddenly snapped, sending him crashing down and knocking him unconscious. A beautiful nun discovered him and brought him into the convent. Two other nuns began to examine his body, but their touch quickly turned unsettling. One nun murmured, "Let's check for broken bones," before lifting his shirt and kissing his stomach. The other nun followed, clearly more interested in his body than concerned for his health. Lorenzo, still pretending to be unconscious, thought to himself, "God, please keep me alive. Whether I'm saint or sinner, give me the strength to hold on." Suddenly, one nun kissed him on the lips, startling him enough to open his eyes. Just then, the Mother Superior entered the room. Caught off guard, the nuns quickly covered up by declaring, "We believe this man is deaf and mute." The mother's eyes lit up at the news, thinking they had finally found someone who could satisfy their desires without exposing them. Knowing a mute man couldn't speak of what he saw, and a deaf man couldn't hear what he wasn't supposed to, they all silently agreed to the lie. The Mother Superior asked him, "Are you deaf and mute?" Lorenzo nodded. She called it a miracle and instructed the nuns to bathe him. As they prepared the bath, Lorenzo began to sing under his breath, "I'll shower you with happiness, love and dreams." The nuns, ignoring his playful singing, joined him in the tub without hesitation. Meanwhile, Pampagna, still troubled by Tindaro's unwelcome advances, visited the church to speak with her virgin friends. "Tindaro is trying to force me to marry him," she said. One friend asked, "But what if he's a fool?" Soon Tindaro barged in, ordering them all to leave, citing the plague as an excuse. They quickly arranged for Pampagna to be sent to the convent for protection. She was accompanied by Uncle Bruno, a self-proclaimed virgin, and the fake priest Andreo. Once Pampagna arrived at the convent, the nuns gave her a gown, welcoming her with symbols of safety and shelter. She felt a deep sense of relief and believed she had finally found sanctuary. Not long after, she noticed Lorenzo working quietly and asked a nun, "Who is she?" The nun replies, "That's our gardener. He's deaf and mute, but works hard, fetching water day and night." Pampagna found herself intrigued, but reminded herself of her vow to Prince Chocolan of Russia. Pampagna, noticing the growing closeness between Lorenzo and Pampagna, began to feel a twinge of jealousy. Meanwhile, the Russian prince finally arrived at Pampagna's palace. Tindaro tried to convince him she was promised to someone else. Disappointed, the prince prepared to leave until a messenger intercepted him with a letter from Pampagna stating she was waiting for him in another city. The prince quickly changed course. Back at the convent, the senior nun discovered Lorenzo's secret liaisons with the other nuns, and instead of condemning it, found herself drawn to him as well. Lorenzo had become the most sought-after man in the convent, and he didn't resist the attention. Over time, Pampagna's feelings for Lorenzo deepened. One day, while he was working and humming to himself, she overheard him singing and realized the truth. He wasn't deaf or mute. Later, she visited him in secret. Blindfolding him, she lifted her veil and whispered a confession of love, saying she wanted to marry him. She kissed him and left before he could see her face. Eventually, as she prepared to leave the convent, Pampagna went to the senior nun and revealed that Lorenzo had been faking all along. Furious at the betrayal, the senior nun immediately expelled Lorenzo from the convent. As Pampagna prepares to leave, she runs into Lorenzo outside. He asks to accompany her, and since she already has feelings for him, she agrees. Meanwhile, the Russian prince, still in search of Pampagna, meets a girl who claims to be her. Since he has never seen the real Pampagna, he believes her. Pampagna and Lorenzo arrive at her home. During their conversation, Lorenzo confesses that he fell in love with a girl at the church who had blindfolded and kissed him, declaring her love. Pampagna realizes that Lorenzo is talking about her. She asks how he would recognize this girl, and he replies that he would find a way. Before she can tell him the truth, Tindaro shows up, furious to see Lorenzo with her. He challenges Lorenzo to a fight, but Pampagna steps in and declares she will never marry Tindaro. In response, Tindaro has Lorenzo thrown in prison. The next day, Pampagna tells Tindaro that she will agree to marry him if he frees Lorenzo. Tindaro agrees, releases Lorenzo, and secretly hires 2 men to make sure Lorenzo disappears for good. In the forest, the men try to kill him, but Lorenzo overpowers them. He then follows Tindaro, who is trying to force Pampagna into marriage. At that moment, the Russian prince arrives with Lorenzo, and together they confront Tindaro and his men. A fight breaks out. As Tindaro tries to escape, Lorenzo blocks his way and the two face off. Lorenzo defeats him and throws him into a well, ending his life. Pampagna then turns to the Russian prince and says she can't marry him. The prince is stunned. When the woman he thought was Pampagna removes her charm, he realizes he's been tricked and exclaims, "You're not Pampagna. I met Pampagna at the pond. We shared something special." Just then, the real Pampagna appears. The prince turns to her and says, "She's the one I'll marry." As Lorenzo begins to walk away, Pampagna stops him and asks, "Where are you going?" He replies, "I'm going to find the girl who kissed me and marry her." Pampagna tells him to close his eyes, then kisses him. Instantly, Lorenzo realizes she is the girl he's been searching for. As the realization settles in, all the couples around them begin kissing their partners, bringing the story to a joyful and happy ending.